This isn't to JJ, and it's not to Kay. Tony. This author got banned from my school library when I grew up because she was too rude. Monday, Skinny Melon and me have decided we're going to keep diaries. Skinny is going to start hers on Saturday and she has bought a special book to do it in. She says it's no use doing it in an ordinary pocket diary with spaces for each day, as there'll be times when we'll feel like writing a great deal and other times when we're not going to write anything at all. Except perhaps what we had to eat for dinner. I agree with her, but I feel inspired to start immediately and so cannot wait to buy a special book. But I'm using an old writing block with wide lines. I can't stand narrow ones. I think when a person is writing a diary, they ought to introduce themselves in case it's unearthed in 100 years' time and nobody knows who's written it. So I will say straight away that this is the diary of me, Cherry Louise Waterton, aged 11 years and 2 months, and I am writing for prosperity, in other words, for the future. To begin with, I suppose I must put down some facts, such as, for instance, that I am medium, tall, and neither fat nor thin, but somewhere in between. I have short brown hair and a fringe and a face, which is chubbyish, I think, I have to be honest, and also round. I know that it is round because I saw these charts in a magazine at the dentist showing all the different shapes of faces, including heart-shaped, egg-shaped, diner-shaped, turnip-shaped, square-shaped, round. Mine is definitely round. Unfortunately, round-faced people tend to have bloody noses, which is what I've got. The school I go to is Ruskin Manor. It is not the school I would have chosen if I had any choice. If I had any choice, I would have chosen a boarding school because I think boarding school would be fun. And also it would take me away from slimy. Anything that took me away from slimy would have to be a good thing. I did ask Mum if I could go to one, but she just said, over my dead body. She was really pleased when I got into Ruskin because it's the one she wanted for me. She says all the others are rough. Ruskin is okay, I suppose, though we have simply stacks of homework, which Mum, needless to say, approves of. On the other hand, I have only been there for 3 weeks, so there is no telling how I might feel by the end of term. Anything could happen. Our class teacher, Mr. Sherwood, who at the moment seems quite nice, could, for instance, suddenly grow fangs, or the head teacher could turn out to be a werewolf. I mean, you just never know. The head teacher is called Mrs. Hode. What kind of name is Hode? It sounds rather sinister to me. My best friend Melanie goes to Ruskin. Her name is Skinner, and she is very tall and thin, so I call her Skinny Melon, or Skinbag, or sometimes just Skin. John Lloyd, who is a boy in our class, said last week that we were the long and the short of it, but that is only because Skinny Melon is so tall, not because I am short. Skin's face shape wasn't shown in the magazine. It's long and thin, the same as the rest of her. Sausage shape, I suppose you'd call it. Like a frankfurter. Me and Skin have been best friends since year 5, and we're going to be best friends through thick and thin, and come what may. We have made a pledge and signed it and buried it in a polythene food bag under an apple tree in my back garden. If we ever decide to stop being best friends, we will have to dig up the pledge and solemnly burn it. This is what we have agreed on. Where I live is 141. It's a road in London, W5. It's Ealing. It's right at the end of the red and green lines on the underground. Skin and I once decided to go and see what Epping was like, as we heard it was some kind of forest. But we got on the wrong train and went to a place called Fairlock instead. Ealing doesn't have any forest. It's just a bit of scrubby common, which you can walk through. There's also a park where Skinny, Nellen and me take her dog Bluebeards and the other dogs. I wish more than anything I could have a dog. Well, almost more than anything. What I would wish more than anything is, alas, impossible, as it would mean turning the clock back, which is something you cannot do unless you happen to be living in a science fiction novel where people travel into the past and change things. I would like to travel to the past and change things. That is what I would like more than anything else. But after that, the next thing, I'd like a dog. Any sort of dog would do, big dog, small dog, I wouldn't mind. Why I'm suddenly starting to write this diary is that Miss Jones, who's our English teacher, said that it would be a good thing to do. She said there are several reasons for keeping a diary. These are some that I can remember. A. It's good practice for when it comes to writing essays, etc. for school. B. It's a record of one's life and will be interesting to look back on when one is old. C. It's a social document for historical purposes, etc. D. It can help to clear out the cupboard. When Mrs. James said about clearing out the cupboard, we did not immediately understand what she meant, and some people started giggling and pretending to open cupboard doors and take cans of fruit and stuff and chuck it away, but Mrs. Jones said the cupboard she was talking about was the cupboard in your head. She said that sometimes the cupboard in your head gets all clogged up with bits and pieces that worry you or upset you or make you angry, and that writing them down in a diary helps to get rid of them. She said we've all got a lot of clutter that needs clearing out. She told us to go home and think about it, to look into our cupboards and see what was there. Amanda Miles told me next day she looked into her cupboard, and as far as she could see, it was pretty well empty, except for the grudge she still had against Mr. Good at the juniors who made her go and stand in the front hall of the throne for throwing paint water at Andy Enos when it wasn't her. She said she didn't think that it was enough to start writing a diary about. I mean, are you going to? She said. To which I just made mumbling noises, since there are some things you can't talk about to other people, and certainly not to Amanda Miles. The thing in my cupboard is one of them. Slimy Roland is the thing in my cupboard. I'd do anything to get rid of him. I wish he'd go and walk under a bus. I expect Mum would be sad for a bit, but she'd get over it. She can't really love him. Nobody could. He's a total and utter dweeb. I nearly had a heart attack when Mum said she was going to marry him. I mean, I really just couldn't believe it. I thought she got a bad taste. I told her so. She slapped me and then burst into tears and said she was sorry, but why did I have to be so selfish and unpleasant all the time? I'm not selfish and unpleasant. I don't think I am, but it's enough to make you... When your mum goes and marries a total dweeb, and I had to go to their rotten, grotty old wedding, which wasn't even a proper wedding, not the actual marrying part, just Mum and Slime and me and the skin bag who came to keep me company, and Auntie Jilly, who's Mum's sister, and this man who was doing it, marrying me. When he finished, he said, now they could kiss each other, and they did, and I looked at Skin and called this being sick face, at which I'm rather good, and Skin told me afterwards that it was a horrid thing to do at my mum's wedding. It's alright for her. I know she hasn't got a dad, but who'd want Slimy? One of the worst things about him was his name, Roland Butter. Can you imagine? I thought at first it was just one of his stupid jokes. He's always making stupid jokes, like where do pigs leave their clothes? At porking meters, ha ha ha. I don't think him. Mum, however, said no. He really was called Roland Butter. He's an artist, sort of. He draws these yucky pictures of owls and teddy bears and stuff for little kids' books, and he has this headed paper with a drawing of a roll and a butter on it. Mum thinks it's brilliant, but that's because she's besotted. If you ask me, it's utterly pathetic, and I'm certainly not going to change my name to Butter, which is what Mum would like me to do. Cherry Butter. I ask you, how could you get anywhere with a name like that? Mum's name is Pat, and guess what? He calls her Butterpop. It's so embarrassing. Dad used to call her Patty. She was Patty, and he was Greg. Unless they were having one of their hours, and then they didn't want to call each other anything at all except names, which I'm not going to write in this diary in case it's ever published. It is true that Mum and Dad did have rows quite often, but what I can't understand is why they couldn't just kiss and make up like Skinny and I did. We had this really awful row once, me and Skin, about a book I'd lent her which she'd gone and lost by leaving it on a bus and then refused to buy a new one because she said I never paid her back the money she lent me ages ago when we'd gone swimming and I'd left my purse behind, which definitely and positively was not true. We had this absolutely mega row and swore never to speak to each other again, but life wasn't the same without Skinny, and Skinny said it wasn't the same without me, and so after about a week we made it up and we've been best friends ever since. Why couldn't Mum and Dad do that? Dad's living in Southampton now. It's near the New Forest. Anna's really nice, but it takes forever to get there. I can't go out with him every weekend like I used to when he and Mum first split up and he was still living in London. Then he'd come and pick me up and we'd do all sorts of things together: McDonald's, museums, the waxworks. It was really fun. After we got this job and moved to Southampton, it meant I could only properly see him in my school holidays. I could have gone with him if I'd wanted. If I'd really wanted, I bet I could. I only stayed with Mum because I thought she'd be lonely. But then she went and met Slimy Rowland at some stupid party and they went and got married, and now she's totally loopy about him, and I'm the only one that's lonely, not Mum. So I could have gone with Dad. Except that Dad's got a new wife called Rosemary, and he's totally loopy about her, so maybe he wouldn't want me either. Maybe nobody wants me, Mum said. She does. But how could she go and marry this creep if that was the case? He's really slimy. Look at him. Huh. I'm not the only one that can draw it. There's nothing to it. That is exactly how he looks: straggly hair and a beard and his long droopy face like a damp dishcloth. And he's all freckled and gingery with white skin and like a mushroom. Ugh, whatever does Mum see in him? She says that if I love her, I'll try and love Slimy. For her sake, I've tried. But how can you love someone who has freckles and makes these awful jokes all the time? Another thing he does, he shoves these cards under the bedroom door while I'm asleep. It's really creepy. I find them lying there, waiting for me when I wake up. They're all covered in these soppy drawings, which I think are supposed to be messages. I don't bother to read them. I just chuck them in the waste paper basket. I know why he's doing it. He's so transparent. It's pathetic. He's trying to impress me. Well, some hopes. I think he's just a total nerd. Mum's best friend Carol, that she was at school, who is my godmother, but who now has gone to live in Austin, Texas, alas. Though she's promised to send me a real American baseball bat for my Christmas present, told me that Mum and Dad had become very unhappy together on account of developing in different directions, which meant they didn't really have anything in common anymore apart from me. But it seems children don't count. Carol said it's lovely for Mum to be with Slimy because they're both in the same business, with Slimy being an illustrator of children's books and Mum being something called a copy editor, which means going through books that other people have written and making sure they've got all their facts right and have all the commas and full stops in the right place and haven't called their heroine Anne Smith on one page and Anne Jennings on another. All I can say is that it may be lovely for me, but it means it isn't very lovely for me. And if writing a diary means clearing Slimy Rowland out of the cupboard, then I'm all for it.